Welcome back to the Adulthood podcast. Shout out to all the adulterers. Thank you guys for always listening and always tuning in. We definitely become a ritual for people. They tell me, they hit both of us up. They say Monday morning, they're waiting for it. Podcast to help them get through their Mondays. And we love to do that for you guys. This is volume 48. We talk about, this is a good one. I think we get a little deep on this one. We talk about confrontations with your partner or with each other as humans in general. And I think this is a good episode that you guys should definitely listen and
send
learn
it to your
from.
friends.
Yeah, all that good stuff. If you want to see me on the road, this is coming out March 11th, and this weekend I'm here in New York City. On the 15th, I'm at Gotham and at the Stand. Look on their website, Stand Comic Club, Gotham Comic Club. Next weekend, the 22nd to the 24th, I'm at the Pittsburgh Improv, and the 28th to the 30th, I'm in Lexington, Kentucky at Comedy Off Broadway. All tickets are at ianlaralive.com. Go to road dates and check me out.
I will be at Katra and at Skinny's Cantina, and shout out to my man Brandon who said leverage them boobies.
There you go. Later. Welcome back, Adulterers, volume 48.
I miss you guys.
Airing March 11th.
I miss you guys.
Welcome back to the Adulthood podcast, the number one health and wellness podcast in the hood. I'm excited to be back. We haven't recorded in a couple weeks.
I know.
Got a lot of stuff to get into. This is volume 48.
Wow.
We're almost at 50, baby.
That's
the
crazy.
big 50. Marty, what are we going to do for our 50th?
Cupcakes.
Can you get us a cake?
Literally, sure.
I don't know. I feel like you like cakes. And
I do like
and you
cake.
have a cake connect.
You have a cake connect?
Because it'll be, is it close enough? Are you happy? You
Yeah,
and my
It
mother
was
would
just
be friends.
pointing at your ear. That's
Okay.
all.
Yeah. You got a cake person.
I do have a cake person.
She got a cake guy.
She got a cake plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ew.
Yeah. We should get a 50th
Red
episode
velvet?
cake.
Or is that too?
No, I like red velvet.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that too niche? Can you blurt that out?
Is
Too early in the episode?
Yeah, that'll get us demonetized.
Damn it.
Is red velvet like a African American thing?
I think so. It's big.
I think doesn't everyone love red velvet?
You'd
Yeah.
be surprised.
I mean, it's like a Taylor Swift reference, but I don't think that
It
you meant
is?
it that way.
What'd she say?
It's in her music video for Blank Space. You got to stab it.
The red.
The red
No.
velvet.
The red velvet.
Neither of you have seen this.
Nice to
I show you
meet
the video.
Well, I mean, she's dating Travis Kelce. Obviously, she likes black guys. So,
Clearly, by the beard.
So that wouldn't
The
shock
beard
me
and
at
the
all.
fade. Yeah, Kansas City.
Volume 48, we're back, baby. First
Woo!
off, I got to give a shout out. I did Yonkers this weekend. This coming out March 11th. All right,
Yeah.
so we're calling. That's Monday? Yeah, that's Monday.
Yeah.
So last weekend, I did Yonkers Comedy Club.
Yo.
I got to give a shout out to everybody that came out at Yonkers. It was I had such good shows. So many people coming out saying that they were adulterers and that they listened to the podcast. It's so funny. I mean, I bring this up every week, but it's so funny when somebody tells me they got like a job that requires attention, and they're like, you know, I'm a brain surgeon and I just have this playing on in the background.
Cracking
and
up.
I'm like, all right, it's on you. We're not responsible for whatever happens. But shout out to all the adulterers that came out. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate y'all listening and sharing and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Y'all the real MVP.
Yes. Oh, big shout out to your NYC. I saw one of our clips was on there.
Oh,
Your
again?
NYC. I think the one that we went.
They posted us a couple times.
Yeah, big shout out.
They posted our clips a couple times. Shout out to them.
Yeah, big shout out to New
That's
York
like one of
City.
the top New York the New York Instagrams
It's
for
like-
ratchet New York stuff.
It's like CNN for the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marty, you say you're in a new era in your life?
Okay, yeah, we're in a new era. We're going to be in a bit era for this podcast.
Mhm.
Like, we're going to do episodes while you two do face masks. We're going to do episodes where I make you draw your feelings
Okay.
during it, where I just give you sketch pads. I'm like, we're doing this. We're going to give you an apron and tell you that we're going to shoot a BTS bit where you have to poach us an egg because you know how to cook and we have a kitchen. And we
Wait.
haven't done this yet.
Okay.
And I feel kind of gypped that
BTS from Korea? Because I don't sing.
it's okay.
Okay.
Not everybody's perfect.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This feels a little bit New Year resolution-y of you, and I feel like you're gonna burn out in 2 weeks.
She's been
Like-
drinking coffee.
Like
though.
your excitement, you're coming in excited, which
coming
is
in
not a
hot.
good sign
I'm
because
coming-
usually you burn out.
I'm coming in excited, but like if I was going to fully burn out, I think it would have happened by now.
So you want to do bits. We
I
gotta
think we need to do more bits.
Okay.
I think we need to do more fun things. I think we need to do more on the street content or any
Well, we do
episode.
have. We have a recurring bit that people have hit me up about that they actually enjoy,
Pop
which is
Roadshow?
the random space facts that I
Yes.
give.
That
Your Roman Empire is space.
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
yeah, the random space facts.
They like that one.
Yeah, people like that. So I've been like every time, because I watch them every night. So I've been like memorizing some random ones, and I got a random space fact for this episode.
Can one of the bits? Can we go to space camp? That would be a great bit.
What is space camp?
I don't know.
Space camp is where they send a bunch of kids in like astronaut outfits down to Alabama. And
They got to be fat. Oh, that's fat camp.
I think that's fat camp.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's fat camp.
I blended them together.
I
Yeah.
don't even think it's called fat camp, but like
It was
They changed the name.
It was.
That was one of my favorite movies.
fat camp.
Yeah.
I never seen it, but random space fact time. This is gonna blow your mind. You know how the sun is a star, right? Everybody
Yes.
knows that.
That's what they say.
And many stars have their own galaxies that surround them. Like
That's
they're the
also
center
what they
of the
say.
galaxy, and they have many planets that surround it. But just to give context, there are billions of other stars.
Okay.
There are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth. Isn't that insane? Think about the desert, and think about the African desert. How many little grains of sand there are? Billions and trillions of them. And there's more stars with planets circling them than there are grains of sand. And you think we're alone?
No.
I'm convinced that I have like a alien cousin or something
What's his name?
out there.
What's their name?
I didn't gender
You
them.
didn't inquire?
No.
Okay.
But
That's why I said there.
I have a new fact every
This is great.
every episode.
Can we get what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson?
He
I think
actually does do podcasts.
That's what I'm saying. Like that would be an amazing episode because
Yeah.
I love random space facts.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I indulge in THC. You know, this is a family show.
Yeah.
And then I just go on YouTube rabbit holes, bro. Like
Yeah.
deep rabbit holes about like black holes and how they used to think that they were just eat up all the stars, but actually like the information comes out of a black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm down for space.
Marty, do you have anything you do that's weird? Or do you have anything you do that's normal? What's the normal thing you do?
I do. What are you talking about?
Like, what's a hobby you have that's different?
A hobby that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. I went to Mountain Time recently, and
That's a place?
yeah. That's
Was that
what
in
I
PA?
call that's what I call visiting my mother.
I thought that
okay.
was a time zone.
That
It
too.
is.
It is?
But I just
Mountain Time is a time
It
zone,
is
right?
a time
Okay. I
zone,
knew I was
but-
in bucket.
But when,
I thought it was in the
I just
Poconos.
call it, yeah. I don't know. We sewed a dress. I like sewing. I like.
You sew?
Yeah.
Why don't you sew us something?
Okay, I'll make you aprons.
Sew us some adulthood aprons.
I'll make you aprons.
Could you make adulthood aprons?
I can make adulthood aprons.
What do you-
Really?
Yes.
You've been wasting our time this whole time.
For 48 volumes.
Yeah, you could have been sewing us aprons.
That's what I'm saying.
I can sew. I don't know. I play piano.
You
what
play
do you want
piano?
from me, Ian?
I want an apron.
Like
You
classical?
want to?
You play piano too?
Yeah.
People came up to me on one person came up to me in Yonkers and they showed me a photo and it was like, it's just Marty.
And was it nothing like Marty?
It was close.
Was it really?
Yeah, we're gonna have to rebrand you.
Great. That's okay. It's okay. What do you do that's normal? Besides bringing, like the toothpaste. I made my bed for a whole week, by the way, guys.
And your
Oh.
life, I feel like your life is
Your life
better.
has changed. That's why she came
Like
in
you're
with so
more
much
excited,
energy.
like
Yeah.
you're more willing to, like you're like
Wow.
productive.
Wow. You discovered
I
things?
knew something was different.
It was because she made the bed.
Yeah, I knew something was different. Like it wasn't the coffee. Like your whole energy is different.
Pring.
Like you want to like accomplish things. I feel like
Yeah, but is that because of my bed?
you tell me you was never like this.
I don't
I've
think-
known you my whole life, and you was never like this.
I
I don't think it's because of my bed. All right, you know what? I'll keep. You know what? If that theory holds true, I'll make my bed every day for the next 2 weeks, and I'll show. And if I burn out, it's not the bed.
You're gonna burn out on bed making.
If I burn out, it's not the bed. But if I don't burn out, it is the bed.
It's the bed. I'm telling you.
I
That is
think-
the secret.
But not only is it the bed, it's adulthood. Like we work.
Yeah, I mean
You changed your whole life.
that's not debatable, right?
A whole week straight, you're making your bed. She's coming in with like ideas. She's taking initiative. Like Adulthood works.
Listen to us and change your lives.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why she's laughing.
I don't know why either.
Anyways, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic.
Yeah, what'd you get into?
Actually, not only did I go on a space deep dive, I watched, do you watch The Tourist on Netflix? Do you have time to watch TV?
No, I heard about this. People keep talking about it. I watched the first episode. I couldn't really get into it. But
Was it
good?
the accents?
It's good.
They were
I don't like the accent.
Down under.
I like English.
No, it was
normal.
It was, but it's Aussie
Is
English.
that controversial?
I think so.
I just want you to sound like me.
Do we
That's
have
it.
any fans in Australia?
We do.
Can we look that up?
We have listeners in weird places. Like when you look at the demographics, there's
Where
like a
they
couple
at?
Denmark, like a couple of people in like, I don't know, Istanbul.
Oh.
Scandinavia. We have like a weirdly large number of listeners in like Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, Sweden. Yeah, Sweden, Norway.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Sweden and Norway.
I'm big over there. I'm big with the Swedes.
That's what's up, man.
But you watched The Tourist?
Yeah, I was watching The Tourist. I got trapped. I binge watched the whole thing, and then the second season just came out. But it was actually
The second season?
Yeah, the second season came out on the 29th?
Oh, because it's an old
It's
show.
an old show.
Australian
Yeah.
show that's being
And
repurposed.
That's being repurposed
for Americans.
Yeah, so the second season came out on the 29th. And it's like interesting. It's like, but it's also like, okay. And then
So it's good? I should watch it?
Yeah, it's good.
I should watch it?
You'll enjoy it.
I got a flight tomorrow. Maybe I'll watch it on the flight.
Yeah.
You know what's the thing? Like these shows, there's so many shows who are like hits in foreign countries, but like they really don't get their legs till they become a hit here.
Or on Netflix, right?
Yeah. I mean, here, basically, because I'm sure there was a hit on Netflix in Australia.
Yeah.
But like, you got to do it here, baby.
What's the show?
People talk about America, but it's still, if you're not doing it here, I don't know what to tell you. Even like you saw like Casa de Papel, which was
Money Heist.
Money
That's
Heist.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, Bank
Which-
Heist or something like
Money
that.
Heist was a pretty big show in Spain, I believe, and then it got canceled, and Netflix picked it up, and it did so
then
well,
it
it got
blew up.
renewed.
Yep, it's like Top Boy
Yeah,
Bruv.
Top Boy too.
in a bit, bro.
England, and British, and then you comes here. You got to do it here. That's why like we're huge in Sweden, but we still haven't hit the American market.
Damn it!
How we want to hit the American market.
What do we got to do, bro?
We're gonna start cooking and doing face masks. I
And
guess.
with eggs, and poached eggs.
Yeah. What was the you watched The Tourist? What
I
else?
watched The Tourist. I was DJing. Big shout out to Skinny's Cantina. I'm back in there, and like I feel like the city's picking back up. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a weekly at Skinny's, I got a weekly at Katra, and it's just. But it's different. So my weekly at Katra is more B-sides and R&B and throwbacks. So, big shout out to anybody who's into that kind of music coming. See me.
I'm sure a lot of adulterers are.
Yeah. I was going to come to Yonkers, but I wasn't feeling too good on Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of people, the people was asking for you. A lot of people come up. They're like, oh, how's APM? How's Marty?
What's
Even
up,
Johan.
y'all?
Johan, I got a couple people like say hello
Oh,
to Marty,
shit.
Johan.
Speaking about Johan.
The whole gang.
I don't know if we should get into this, but that's what so like during our little hiatus, I discovered a gray hair, bro.
Your first one?
My first one.
Oh, where in your head?
On my head.
You don't get beard grades?
No beard grades.
Oh, I get a couple beard grades.
right in here, the left temple.
Oh no, I mean it's
that's where mine is too.
Oh my goodness, what's going on?
Aren't you like 21?
Can you do something for me?
25. But,
You're 25? I think it's
I'll be
better to be one of
25.
those people that just starts graying at like 18.
Nah, but
Because like that is no transition.
that people used to it.
Yeah.
But he's stressed out because I asked him the same question. I'm like, bro, why do you have gray hairs at your age? He's stressed out.
I get beard grays.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you stressed out?
Nah. I mean, yeah, but not any more than anyone else. I'm just normally stressed out. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about women or vaginas, but I think that women enjoy a gray man. If it's salt and pepper.
What do they call it? A silver fox?
Yeah,
Something
I
like
think-
that is
I think-
more refined.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound controversial, but I think when it comes to like gender battles, I think men really have it good.
The upper hand?
Yeah, I mean, literally, we get older, and women find us more attractive.
They actually like us. They love us more.
That is insane.
It's
as
weird.
you age, you're like. I get hit on. I've said this before. I get hit on by more 21-year-olds now than I did when I was 21.
Yeah.
And wait till I turn 40. It's over.
That's a big fact.
Once I turn 40, I'm gonna kill it with the 21.
You're gonna do damage.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
We really, sometimes you gotta really sit back and be like, it's nice.
Take your time.
Being a guy is nice.
Yeah, take your time.
Being a guy is nice.
Don't rush.
A lot of pressure, but like it's a lot of perks too.
But if you make it to, 30s, 40s, then it comes full circle. You're right.
If as a man you could make it to like 45 and have money, oof.
And like
you are good. You are good to go.
What about decent shape? Like being in shape or not?
It's not even necessary. That's what's so good about being a man. Most of these women like fat men, dad bods. Who made this popular?
A man.
You can just get fat and a woman will just love you. It's great.
Who did make that popular?
It's
that
amazing.
Like something
it's
a man
amazing.
would do.
Literally, like women. I know women that think a 6-pack is disgusting.
It's gross. They're like horrified.
They're grossed out about it.
Yeah.
So literally, they want you to get fat and old, and then they'll love you. They want you to be their dad. I think.
Did they ever tell you the reason behind it? Like, have you ever heard women that like, I don't want no man that spends more time in the mirror than me and like, takes too much pride in his appearance. That's why, like, the dad bods took off.
Yeah. I think women generally prefer to be the pretty, beautiful one.
I think so.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of them, you'll hear them be like, "Oh, I like my man ugly."
Have you ever heard? I've definitely heard the uggos, but have you also heard of like men who actually like dress down intentionally because they don't want the attention from women? So like they'll like wear sweatpants with no pockets and stuff. And it's not because they're struggling. It's just because like they're in that age 40, 45 where they just get gravitated to. So they have to tone it down.
Well, I think where we are, I think, fashion is cyclical, right? It comes and goes. What was popular then is now popular, whatever.
Flannel.
But I find that now, like, people are more, the bummier, like, bummy is a look.
It's a win.
It's like, respectfully, I don't know if you could say bummy, unhoused is a look.
Unhoused.
I think Kanye was one of the first ones to come out where he had a fashion show, runway show, and it was like, I seen homeless wearing this. It's like clothes with holes in them and stuff.
Yeah.
Baggy clothes with holes in them. And now they're like the norm.
Not only that, like his installment at the Gap, I think the clothes were just in
they were thrown in a garbage bag.
They were in a garbage bag.
That's how he presented them.
That's how he presented it.
It was like, just thrown in a garbage bag.
Like
on the floor.
Just go.
Just $1,000 Yeezy clothes just thrown on the floor. I think that's popular. I went to the Knick game. This week, and I actually got to go courtside.
Oh,
and I was like, what am I gonna wear? I was looking at outfits about what to wear, and I had some outfits that like look good, and I was like,
what am I doing?
This is trying too hard. I'm gonna put on I wore like these baggy jeans, a baggy hoodie, and just a jacket, and like that's fly now.
Did they put you on the thing?
On the Jumbotron? No, they didn't.
Comedian
which is nice. It sucks when you see a celebrity up there and everyone's like, who?
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's just I didn't want that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I feel like when you see paparazzi photos of like celebrities like Drake, Kanye, like they don't be dressed up like that.
They look unhoused.
They don't be dressed up like that.
They look unhoused.
In fact, I think that we're in a place now where like the people that be wearing all those name brands like Louis, Gucci, that looks like tacky to me.
Because it does, especially like with the overt logos.
Overt logos is crazy,
man.
If you got just a black jacket and it's just like a regular black suede jacket, and then I found out it's Louis, I'm like, yo, that's fire. That's a fire jacket.
Because
I would have thought it was fire anyway, but it's fire that is Louis and it's low key.
It's low key.
But if your jacket got like all the Louis in it, like I get what you're doing, and if you send me some Louis Vuitton, I'd wear it on the podcast and in life too.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a little bit tacky.
Not only is it tacky, it's also like you know where we come from. You also like look like a target. You know what I mean? Them stick up kids, especially like since COVID, people are robbing people.
Right. Also, a lot of these Louis jackets that I be seeing people with, and I seen a meme about this, but it's true. I don't be seeing them in the stores. I don't know if they got a Louis guy or if they going straight to Louis.
They probably know Marty's Cupcake guy,
but I don't know
the Louis guy.
I don't know what it is, bro. But these people showing up with these jackets that I'm like, I didn't even know Louis was making flannels.
Are they making their own Louis?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it a customized Louis store?
I don't know what it is, but
that's wild.
In conclusion, sometimes it's very nice to be a man.
I don't know if you can say that in 2024.
You're not allowed
to. No, you're definitely not allowed to like.
We talk about the negatives a lot. Sometimes you got to give the positives.
You know how it goes.
Everybody has there's positives to everything, right? Like people try to act like
technically
there's positive to everything.
Technically,
we talked about last week. We talked about pretty privilege and how if you got a nice set of boobs, the things you're capable to do in life that other people aren't necessarily capable to do. How you could get like free stuff. And,
everybody loves a nice set
into
of boobs.
Clubs. That's something.
Free drinks.
If you show up to a club with a nice cleave situation,
nice
there's no way you're waiting in line.
No.
That's just accepted.
The first drink is on the house. I've seen it.
Right. That's just what is accepted. Yeah. Some of these clubs, I know some promoters that they'll give you and your homegirls, if it's all baddies, they'll give all of y'all bottles. Like just come through.
Yeah, just come. We've seen it.
Yeah, that's a privilege.
That's called pretty privilege.
Women get to go into the club showing their titties and they could get in free. And men get to age out and date young, beautiful women if they got money.
I think that's called balance.
That's balance. Marty, you don't like this.
Namaste.
I'm just happy you're practicing gratefulness.
Yeah, this is what it is.
See, look, this is what we do. We saged earlier, we're in there.
Let me ask you something, DJ APM.
Holla at me though.
Do you feel, how do I put this? How do you feel about people who lose their temper? You got people like this in your life? Or do you lose your temper?
I don't lose my temper. If I lose my temper, then it's mostly justified.
There's a level of tempered loss that's accepted. Yes. That's widely accepted by everyone.
And then people who just like lose their temper all of the time, I try to do my best to like remove myself from their arenas. If someone has too much of like anger issues, I can't associate myself with them, especially like in different scenarios.
That's
like, don't be
move.
having a temper tantrum in front of the police. That's number one.
That's the right
number
move.
Two, don't be talking about like gang signs in the middle of a gang standoff because they're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
Yeah.
Whether you are a man or woman or they,
or there you go.
If you're the person that easily loses your temper, you are weak.
How do you feel?
That is a weak trait. Losing your cool. We're all humans. We're not immune to it, right? At any given moment, that could happen. You were having a bad day. I understand. Mm-hmm. But the people that perpetually are these people that get angry, lose their cool, and then have to walk it back. You are a weak person. I think that's not part of adulting. Part of adulting is you should know how to use your words.
Yes,
right?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Kids have temper tantrums because they don't know how to use their words.
Yeah.
They don't know how to express stuff. So if you get into an argument with your partner, your lady or whatever, or she gets an argument with you and she just loses their cool and you get that's a weak trait.
What's an acceptable like tolerance though? Because like I understand when someone loses their cool. Like if they lose their cool in a very subdued way, like
I think it's one thing. I think it's one thing to lose your cool and raise your voice because.
That happens.
Yeah, if you're a New Yorker, you almost probably raise your voice like no matter what.
Your
just
voice
like,
is actually raised.
Right. Just like when you be sometimes I be talking to my boys, we'll be talking sports and we'll start yelling at the top of our lungs. And sometimes it get heated too, but that's not real heated. Like that's not like we're not going to fight. Like we're just talking sports.
Passion.
Yeah, we're just talking sports.
But I also feel like New Yorkers, since our voices are so raised that when you actually come down a bit, people get uncomfortable and they get annoyed by that. I've seen that, but sorry.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, so that is a thing too. But just to say that, like, I don't consider like losing your cool or your temper, like just raising your voice a little bit. Also, there's levels, right?
Yeah.
There's one thing like if I'm speaking firmly and loud, and then if I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, you're gonna know what that is too. But I feel like if you're doing that in small situations, that's a weak trait. Like you need. When I was young, when I was a teenager, I think this is something that all teenagers have, right? I used to have angry temper tantrums.
Really?
Yeah, for no reason. Like I think it's part of like puberty. You just get upset and you just start lashing out, right?
Yeah.
And I remember one time my dad like sat me down and he was like, "What is this
What's
about?"
Up with you?
Yeah, he's like, "What is this? Like you're just angry for no reason?" And I kind of
damn, you had a dad?
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, he was good. He was good. He was there.
Damn.
And then I kind of stepped back and I looked at myself and I was like, okay. this is not cool. So now normally, like when I enter thing, and like I said, we could get passionate about a conversation or even an argument,
But it's not gonna
it's not gonna go
Yeah.
like to the
Shout out to your dad.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Shout out.
Another thing too is like, you know, especially like we were talking about in sports, is like, I think it's kind of different with men and women in the sense of like, sometimes those heated arguments between men come to blows and then you shake hands and you're like, I have to get that out. Especially because I'm thinking about from playing sports. So like, you know, sports, testosterone, football, you know, you running into each other, you tackling each other, but also you talking shit. Like if you put a move on someone and like it's bad and it's on the film, you have to expect shit talk to come.
Right. I don't mind shit talk to a certain extent. I don't like it. I don't think people should be putting their hands on each other.
No, but I'm just saying, like in that arena, you might have to just like, okay, what's up? You back yourself up, but then it's left on the field and then you cool.
Yeah.
But like if you're out, you shouldn't be like putting your hands on nobody. That's
No,
number
you
one.
shouldn't. Like as an adult, like
That's crazy.
as an adult, the violence should be reserved for like life and death threatening situations
only.
Right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. I don't think you should be. And again, I'm not saying I'm not immune to like, you know, you get into
Aggressive?
you drinking and you might get into argument and sometimes things get out. I'm not saying that can't happen, but like these people that are constantly getting into like fights or whatever, I just don't think that's a good way to be a grown up.
But that's another thing too, to add to that wisdom, is the people who know that they have a short trigger and then they also want to just drink their life away. Because that's not a good match, bro. Like, don't be getting angry and then also you're highly intoxicated because now you put everybody in jeopardy. It's just like this person, and we see it all the time, especially like you go out with that friend who might be a little bit insecure about something that might have got turned down by a girl, or next thing you know, it's escalating where it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I find as being in my 30s, I find that most of the times when I go out, like I go out and I'm running to other like men in their 30s, whether they're black, white, don't matter the race, generally the energy is like, none of us are here to fight
At all.
Like most of us are here out with our lady or whatever the situation is. Granted, sometimes situations get out of control and it might end up there, but that's never the energy, at least in the places that I go.
No.
Like I'll be in a bar, whatever, allowing somebody bump into me is always like, yo, my bad, brother. Like, you know,
it's all good.
I mean, nah, you good. That's always the energy. The days of brawling out are over.
Because somebody scuffed their Pumas
Nah.
is long gone.
Those days are long gone.
But like, I have to admit though, sometimes those days were kind of fun. Like get into a little scuffle. Like what?
Sure.
When you're in your 20s and like before everybody was shooting each other, like just to be honest, right?
Yeah,
like, we
no.
got into a little scuffle.
No, for sure. Back then it was actually like a little more innocent and people had less to lose.
There
like,
was no phones.
I even with the phones, it's just like you had less to lose. Like you get
Yeah.
into a fight, worst case scenario, you get a black eye or whatever, you just heal your black eye. But now like
man.
people got like corporate meetings on Monday.
That's what I was gonna
They
say.
gotta go to PTA.
Bro.
Like, you can't be fighting.
And the crazy part is like when I used to do security and like I still had my corporate job and there used to be fights and I would like try to like de-escalate any situation because it's like, what do I look like going to work with a black eye? Like, how am I going to explain this to my boss?
It's insane, brother. So many times, like I remember times it's probably happened like the switch over was like in my mid 20s, probably like 26, 27.
Yeah.
When I was in my earlier 20s, like I might have been with whatever.
It was all
because,
sight.
just because I didn't have much to lose. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, whatever. But I think 26, 27, I started like my career started getting some buzz. And then I used to be like, oh, I can't fight. I
can't
got
fuck
somewhere
this
to
up.
be on
Yeah.
Monday. I got somewhere. I'm gonna be on stage with a black eye, wearing sunglasses or missing teeth.
That's
because I got
crazy.
into a bar fight with somebody. That's insane.
That's crazy. But on top of that, like being in places where they charge you $150 for a hookah, you're not fighting, bro. Like when you go to certain places, it's like fighting is the last. I
Right.
paid way too much money just to get into this place. So I ain't fighting nobody. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave. And another thing too is as you get older, you start to like notice things like where there's a fight that's gonna happen over there. They look like they're escalating. So you can see things before it happens where you're like, yo, we out. We don't even need this.
Right. And then when you in this business, you gotta like kind of protect yourself from
At all costs.
Because like the smallest situation could turn around and affect your career. So,
Really?
So I'll be out of it. Again, I'm not talking about times where there's life and death situations or the threat of like, I'm not talking about like in threatening situations where you have to defend yourself. That's different.
Yeah.
I'm talking about these little quarrels that pop up
And
like,
they can escalate.
that can escalate. They can either, it's crazy because they can either escalate or they can de-escalate really easily.
Yeah.
Like somebody steps on you in the club, you can either fight them or you can be like, nah, you good, brother. It's a club.
It's a club. I shouldn't be wearing white shoes anyway.
Right. You ain't want to get stepped on. You should have got a VIP.
Even
Spend
then,
$1,000 on a bottle. If not, I'm stepping on you.
1,000, 2,000.
Right. If you don't got $2,000 to spend on a bottle, then nigga, you getting stepped on.
I'm stepping on your sneakers, B.
And we not fighting. How about that?
Nope.
I'm stepping on you and I'm walking away. Now you can't even fight me. That brings us to the topic of the day, which is confrontation and when it's necessary.
Segway King.
Yeah. Now I think we was talking about confrontation with the same gender. What do you think about like intergender confrontation?
I think is it between in a relationship or is it between strangers or you just generally?
I'll ask you straight up. You ever had a woman put her hands on you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a victim of domestic
violence.
Abuse. Yes.
See, this is interesting. This is interesting. I assume it was a while ago.
This is a long time ago.
A while ago.
Yes.
What, a slap?
No, like punched.
Punch?
Yeah.
How did you handle it?
I still have the scar because I punched the wall.
Okay, out of anger, because you handled it the right way.
Yes, I could have put my hands on her, and then like I'm jammed up in a situation, so I'm just like but I had to let it out. Boom, hand right through the wall.
I'm glad you said this because I mean, a man putting his hands on women, that doesn't have to be said. That is completely unacceptable.
Gross,
unacceptable.
1,000%.
And you should
disgusting.
never do that.
Like
but
you need to get hanged.
Right. You don't hear a lot about women putting their hands on men.
Well,
and this is a serious thing.
Well, we hear a lot about it.
Right. As a man, you hear a lot about it.
Yeah, but it's not out in the atmosphere. That's
right.
true.
And there's a lot of, I know, a lot of our listeners are women. And if you're one of these people that put your hands on men, I can't urge you enough not to do this.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
This is not a good way to live your life.
Not at all.
Some of you might be listening to this and you might be sitting back and saying, I smacked the shit out of every boyfriend I dated and it's been good.
Or,
okay, but you have not, there's a guy out there, you've been lucky that the guys you've been dealing with have given you a pass.
Yeah.
Like APM did, like I myself have done.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been
are you a victim
of domestic violence.
Sorry about that.
There are men out there that will not give you the pass. And the day you run into that, it will get ugly for you. You should not be putting your hands on people.
Don't put your hands on nobody.
No matter who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care if you lost your cool. I don't care if you think. And I guess there's like we gotta differentiate. There's difference from like slapping or hitting on your chest than to hitting somebody in the face.
In the face. And you know what? You bring up a good point, and I want to shout out your dad again. I feel like there's not enough.
Shout out to my dad.
No, but for real, like there's not enough. Like, but where did you learn that? Like, because those men who don't know how to react in that situation, they didn't have someone telling them like, hey. It doesn't matter what a woman does, even if she punches you, you don't put your hands on a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. No, I just didn't grow up in a domestic violence environment. So my mom and dad will argue. My brother argues with his girl. Everyone who argues, they get into these big, and we're Dominican, so they get into like these big blown out shouting arguments, but nobody gets physical. We don't play those.
Okay.
But I was as a kid, I was just raised that way. Like my mom as a kid would be like, even if I was play fighting with like another friend of mine, my mom would be like, you don't play like that. Like you don't play with your hands, you don't hit people.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll see like, it's not a racial thing, but you see like, because of the jackass culture, you'll see like white guys, they'll play like that with each other. Where white guys, they'll run up to each other and smack the shit out of each other in the back of the head. Or punch each other in the thing. Yeah. Like I didn't grow up playing like that.
That's not the games
Me and my friends, none of us play like that.
No, not at all. Because we know where it could go.
Right. You know where it could go.
But then to build on top of that, my mom, shout out to her. She said that she used to teach the same things. But I also want to shout out like my coaches. Like they were very adamant from a young age, high school and college. Like when it comes to interactions with girls and women, like you always got to make sure that like you're on the straight and narrow. If things start to escalate, just leave. Call someone's friends. Make sure you have a phone to make sure you record anything. Like when it comes to alcohol, because alcohol leads you down, terrible paths. Make sure Like, it's been so many times where you're with a woman who's intoxicated and I'm making sure I can see all of her friends and that all her friends can see me. So, like, we know everything is straight and narrow. Like, nah, we don't play those games.
It's happened to me. And it's happened to me. And I feel like if you're like a girl that gets drunk or gets upset and puts her hand on a guy, I just feel like that's so disrespectful on so many levels. Because one, if you're comfortable doing that, I feel like you're probably banking on the kindness of this guy to not retaliate in the moment, right? You know that this guy is a nice enough guy that he's not going to retaliate, and you're taking advantage of like a guy being like, I guess I don't want to call it a gentleman to not hit somebody, because you shouldn't hit somebody
in the first place.
Yeah, whether you're whatever. But the guy has enough respect where he won't like hit you back or even like pull you up or like push you. Yeah. So I think it's like disrespectful that you're taking his kindness and using it like against him, because if that's the case, then you might as well just let him know from the beginning, like, hey, I'm gonna disrespect you this way, so react however you want to react. And then if he reacted the way he reacted, then you probably wouldn't, like it. Yeah. Because let's be honest, most guys are stronger than the average guy is stronger than the average, lady.
That damn testosterone.
Right. Now, I know there's some women here that do MMA and they like to bodybuild and they're like, I'll beat the shit out of anyone. I ain't talking about you.
We're not talking about
Darlene.
You. I know, but if you want to do security for us on the road,
right.
DM the page. What's our number? 917 something? 347 something.
Yeah. 347-378-9423.
Yeah. Yes. But you're 100% correct, bro.
And also, I think it's messed up on a higher level, especially if you're a minority, because if as a woman you put your hands on a guy like who's a minority in public or even in private, like if the authorities get involved, it ain't gonna be good for them.
No, it's not. And that was the part that like it was not only that, like, all right, you punched me in the face, but it's just like, yo, you really trying to jeopardize my life.
Exactly.
Because if I didn't know how to like respond or anything like that, if I didn't know how like that self-control, guess who's going to jail tonight?
Bro, I got hit in the face in the street, and I had to just
in public?
Yeah, I had to just suck it up. Because I had the wherewithal, and I was wise enough and grounded to know that this would not end well for me.
For you. And that's the thing. You have to be able to make that decision
immediately. But that's what I'm saying. That's where we go. That goes into like what we were saying at the beginning, where I'm like, but that's the mark of like an adult man and an adult woman being able to make that discernment. Not to say that occasionally you don't lose it and maybe you're not able to make it, but generally speaking, you should be able to make that.
Even in losing it, you got to like lose it in the right way, because I had another friend too, and it's like, it's crazy how this is like a man's response, but like, when we don't know how to handle the situation, when we get frustrated or something, we punch things. So like my homeboy, he punched a glass and he had stitches for like,
he was arguing
with a girl.
Yeah. No, you gotta, like, even the punching stuff, that's not,
that's not smart.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Then you're at your Monday meeting with a cast on making pretend it was a sports injury or a masturbation injury or something to not look stupid.
Masturbation injuries do happen.
Yeah.
And like, you gotta make sure you stretch
to not look stupid.
Use the, what is it, the Theragun?
Yeah,
because you'll fuck around and cramp your shit up, and then next thing you know, like, yeah.
Marty, you have something you wanted to tell us?
Did I?
I don't know. I thought you were making a face, or is that just you?
You've never caught a cramp? You've never caught a cramp? The worst is, I'm sorry. I guess we're going
cramp
down the spot. Yeah, like catching a cramp like during coitus is something that like happens when you get older. But I remember,
what's coitus again?
That's sexual, sexual activity. That's the worst. Like, cause you gotta like breathe. So because especially like when you're like, if you catch a cramp during coitus when you're about to arrive, it's the worst thing ever. Like, sorry.
Yeah. No. This is a safe space and an open.
Thank you.
Open thing. I don't like the term TMI. I don't like that.
No.
Well, it's information. Don't withhold information.
All right. So make sure you stretch.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Johan, have you ever? You look like you've been abused. Have you ever had?
Oh my God.
You ever had a lady? I'm sure you have. You come from Arizona.
Yeah, they're wild out
there. And the spicy Latinas.
Can you say that?
Spicy Latinas?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
category in pornography.
It's not spicy Latinx.
Nah, Latinx is out, I think.
It's out.
Yeah, I think it's out. They
Bitch, I'm a blowfish.
Yeah, they didn't want it. They didn't want it. You had a girl put her hands on you?
Yeah.
How'd you handle it? Did you hit her back?
No.
Good.
But,
Did you wrestle her?
Good man.
No, but it's the punching of stuff definitely takes.
Why is
takes
that a
over on you.
reaction?
Because you can't punch them
That's what it is.
and you need to release some anger.
Well, I used to do it as a kid too when I would fight with my brother a lot.
Yeah.
Like I went through the same thing when you were saying like my dad would do the same thing where he was like,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? Like, why are you making?
Damn,
such
you had a
big
dad
deal out of
too?
this? Yeah.
Fuck,
He's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
But like I would fight with my brother a lot, and
Sorry.
in order not to like physically fight, I would just go to my room and like punch my headboard
Yeah.
and just get upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, that same thing where now I'm just kind of like, let me chill. And whenever somebody does kind of explode, it's kind of just like, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we should talk about some positive ways to confront people. And
Absolutely.
here's the thing. Sometimes I think the people who explode, I don't think they want to explode. I think it's literally out of their control.
Out of their control.
Like they
can't
have not
handle it.
figured out how to control it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
But I think if you're one of these people, then you have to remove yourself from these situations.
But and shout out to your hat. There's also people who like they try to do the right thing, and then people keep antagonizing them. So like case in point, the the Malice in the Palace. You're a sports fan, right?
Mhm.
Remember Ron Artest, that whole big blow up in Indiana?
Yeah.
He was doing his meditation process of like, okay, I'm getting angry right now. I'm gonna go on the table. I'm gonna count to 5. I'm gonna breathe, and then somebody throws a beer at him. So it's just like.
Yeah.
You should also like have people around you to protect you from like blowing up on other people. You know what I'm saying? I know that doesn't happen all of the time, but like, I have some friends who have some anger issues, and like they do the work to like be like, you know what? I gotta step away. Don't touch
You gotta actively do the work.
Yeah, but then like sometimes it's good to have like pause, to have a buffer there to be like, hey, like just leave them alone.
Yeah, no, you know what I think it is? I think a lot of women now are growing up watching these
Sex and the City?
Bad Girls Club, Desperate Housewives, the Rich Wives of the Bronx, whatever these shows are.
Shout out to the Rich Wives of the Bronx.
Yeah, and these shows, I think they make their mark with like by getting these women which by the way, I'm in entertainment, they're acting. I know you guys love your whatever things and you believe it's real. They're acting.
You pulling the fifth wall right
They're
now.
acting.
Right?
Anyways, these girls, the way they handle conflict, I mean, on these reality shows, is a drink to the face.
It's not real.
Or physical.
It's not real.
Which, we might have touched on this in the previous episode. We've seen a lot of reality shows where all that, like, I've never seen in my entire life, I've never seen the amount of fights that I've seen on this episode.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like, I've never seen so many women fight in my whole life. And in this hour, you guys have managed to pack in more fights than your average human sees in their whole life.
But you bring up a good point in the sense of another thing too is that like they take that and they apply that to reality, and they get like it really misconstrued because like some women, I'm talking about women on women.
Mm-hmm.
They really know how to fight. So like a couple of my homegirls are the most calm and the most chill, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're blowfishes and stuff like that. Yeah. But if a woman disrespects or like invades on her personal space, she turns into like Ronda Rousey with a right hand. It's like,
some women know how to fight.
They know how to stand their ground. Yeah.
So here's my thing though. What do you think about this? And this might be a little petty or whatever you want to call it, but how do you feel about like if a woman puts her hands on you, finding another woman who you're close to, maybe a sibling or a friend, to go speak to her, because I feel like that's the fairest way, because that's like what I'm saying. Like if you put your hands on a man, like you're also not only like as a woman, I feel like you're betting on so many things. You're betting on this guy being calm enough to not retaliate. You're betting on him being reasonable or not reasonable enough, but you're betting on him not leaving you for this.
Too.
And also you're betting that this man doesn't have a woman in his life that will gladly beat the shit out of you. Right? Because everybody has that, especially if you grow up from the hood or like in
Fisticuffs.
New York. Everybody has that. Like any dude that's cool in New York, that's a cool dude, has girls that are literally begging
on
to beat the shit out of somebody.
On
like,
speed dial.
Like, call me, please. I need action.
And they talk like this. Like,
Right.
She did what?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So it's like,
Yeah.
I know for sure I do. I'm sure you do too. Like, where if you really wanted to be like that, you could be like, okay, I'm not gonna hit you, I'll get another girl.
I'm calling who, Shantae and them.
Right.
And they'll be here in 30 seconds. She got pigtails and she's wearing all black. She's a blowfish.
Right.
So.
And even in our, like, granted, we're not like in our wild youth anymore, but even in our 30s, there's still women up there that will pull up and be like, this her? And that's it.
No, not
and just
not
swing
this
on her.
It's that bitch.
And just swing on her. It's not even no talking.
I've seen it.
Which,
most
disclaimer, that's not the way to go.
That's not what
either.
we do. That's not
the
we
way
do.
to go either.
But most of the fights that I've seen in like adulthood, like past 28 and up, have been just women fights.
Yeah.
Like mostly like girl on girl.
Yeah.
Like that bitch said this and
I think a guy fight is just way more dangerous.
It's way too dangerous.
Although a women fight could get dangerous
when the guys get involved.
But even just women on women, it could get dangerous. But a guy fight, like especially as grown men, like death is not too far.
It's right there.
The wrong move.
I had a football coach who died like in a bar fight.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, he got punched and then just like fell and hit his head.
That happened by my house too. Did I tell that story?
No.
Yeah, that happened. That happened by my
RIP.
house in Queens. Same thing as his coach. This guy goes out to some bar with his wife. They're just grown-ups. These aren't like kids looking for mischief. Just two grown-ups going out, babe, let's go have a drink. In his 50s. I think he was like a bus driver or something. Yeah, like a regular tax-paying good
citizen.
Dude. Yeah. At the bar, apparently there's like some drunk guy mouthing off at the bar, disrespecting his wife, disrespecting him. They exchange words. They end up taking it outside. They get outside. The dude punches the guy in his face. The guy falls over, hits his head on the hydrant. Like bang first on the hydrant, gets in a coma for like 5 days, then dies in the hospital. The guy got charged with manslaughter.
Oh my God, bro.
Just a dad with like 2 kids that just went out with his wife to have like a drink at a local bar.
That's so sad.
It's like terrible. I mean, it's terrible for the guy who died. He didn't deserve that.
He didn't.
And the guy who was just minding his business, he didn't deserve that either. It's just
wait. So who died? The drunk guy died.
The drunk guy died.
Oh.
But then the guy who was just like a normal dude had to go to prison.
He was and just defending himself.
Yeah, he had to just go to prison, and everyone be like self-defense. Self-defense is not an easy thing to prove, especially in New York.
It's definitely not. And this is what we were talking about earlier, where like the ramifications on this shit it like grows when you're at a certain age. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Wow, that's crazy.
Right. So I think a positive way to confront somebody is if you know that sometimes you snap. Granted, but normally you know when you boiling, right? You know when it's like it's fizzling up.
Yeah,
I'm one wrong thing away from a backhand.
Somebody says the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's like the backhand is like loaded.
Yeah,
and you just need one thing to be said so you could come across.
And don't walk around with the loaded backhand.
Right, the loaded backhand is very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
So I feel like if you feel that you're at this point, wait. It's okay to have the conversation later on.
Should you leave?
I think so. I'm the kind of person where, again, I'm not the most calm person all the time. I lose my cool too. But what I do have over people is I'll take time to cool off.
You got to cool off.
Right. I won't say nothing. I won't engage with you. I'll go away and cool off and come back when I feel like better.
That's a great strategy. That's a great technique. But you know what else? And this is for only people who are 21 and up, but like I indulge in the cannabis lifestyle.
Sure.
And that has avoided so many situations for me. Like,
yeah.
It's I almost laugh. Like if something were to happen, like, bro, whatever, man. Or, when you see somebody that's vibing so hard that it's just like, I don't even want to interrupt their vibe because the vibe is just too strong.
Yeah. But I think even a weed high, like I feel like even that type of chill, laid back high, you could still snap someone out of that real quick by doing something disrespectful.
Something very disrespectful.
Or crazy.
Yeah.
That'll get you, like you'll snap out of it quick. But I don't think adults like still being being people who drink and want to fight. I don't think you should be doing that into your 30s.
And you shouldn't be hanging out with people who want to do that.
Yeah, that's the people, the fighting for no reason people in your 30s. That ain't cute.
No, it's not.
It wasn't cute in the 20s, but in the 20s you get a pass. He's a wild boy. He's young. He's a wild boy. But now as an adult, it ain't cute. But, and at the end of the day, like once you get to your 30s, especially mid 30s, like if you going out with your boys, it's usually to some sports bar to watch the game or something like that. And most of the times you go out is either you and your girl or a double date.
Or family.
Yeah. So like the going out like that with the 5 groups of guys on the prowl for vagina, that doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't happen a lot. And can I add also the fact that like, nigga, I got a gray hair. I got arthritis.
I got acid reflux.
Acid reflux.
I can't fight you. I'm going to try to fight. I'm going to get some acid reflux. I'm going to start throwing up.
Right? Shit, like I might have an asthma attack or something. Like, no, what? I'm about peace.
Right.
And love.
Right.
That's I got my AARP card in the mail.
Yeah, that's what this podcast is about.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Marty, what do you mean by people say you shouldn't burn bridges?
Like, if someone's really toxic in your life, people say you shouldn't burn bridges. So like, let's say you work with that person. And don't laugh. And so let's say you work with that person, but they're really like toxic in your life. Should you burn the bridge?
Is this a story?
What do you mean by burn a bridge?
Laughing? What are we missing? We're missing the tea?
Have you heard the phrase burn bridges?
Yeah. But if somebody is toxic in your life and you don't want to be associated, that's not burning a bridge. That's not a bridge.
No, but people would say that it is a bridge. Especially if it's connected through something else. If it's connected through work or
but
family. But
burning it implies lighting flames to it. You can close the bridge in a graceful way, right?
Yeah. However you want to say the bridge comes down, but that's the
well, that's what I'm saying. The bridge don't gotta come down. It could just be closed.
Just to reroute.
Yeah.
It can, but I think that is still, I think if you like, how would you say to do that? How would you close a bridge?
For example, if let's say you're at work, whatever, and you have somebody you don't get along with, and you've given them multiple opportunities for it to figure it out, right? Because also we can't be, again, babies. We can't act like toddlers, and at the first sign of something, you're like, throw a temper tantrum and be like, this person's terrible. But let's say you've got a coworker, somebody listening got a coworker who you've dealt with many times, but you guys just don't see, you've given each other many opportunities, but you're just two personalities that don't mesh, right? You can be like, listen, you know what? Me and you don't mesh. Respectfully, we work together, so I don't want it to be weird, but I just want you to know that me and you, like, we're not, other than work, let's just keep this on like a work relationship, because me and you, we obviously don't get along.
That's way too mature.
That's closing the bridge.
Yeah.
That allows that with time, maybe the bridge can be open, right? With time, you can build. Now, you going into their office, cursing them out, fuck you. If you wasn't wearing that uniform, I'd beat the shit out of you. That's burning the bridge. That's tough to come out. I don't think you should do that at work.
I don't know. And the reason why I say that is because, like, what about like the Weinstein situation, where like many people close the bridge instead of burning that bridge, and that bridge should have been burned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a spectrum where it's just like, if something so egregious happened, you got to tell that person like, nah, fuck you, dog, and burn. I'm burning the fuck out of this.
I think there's a difference between not getting along with a coworker and a crime being committed.
That's true. That's true.
That's a
fair assessment.
If a crime is being committed at your job, then yeah, maybe. I don't even think that's burning a bridge. That's reporting the crime.
Think about how many people that didn't want to burn that bridge, so they closed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For how long?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, where it's just like, nah, like, fuck you, bro. Fuck this. I'm burning the bridge. But like, the way you handle it, can I get that tape? Because I might have to do that in a couple of my work situations. That was very mature.
Sure, but also, I mean, we don't, us here at the Adulthood podcast, we don't claim to be better than anybody else. And
we don't.
We have perspective, and I'm saying this as a person who's sitting on a couch, relaxed, and doesn't have a problem with a coworker, right? If I did have a problem with a coworker, maybe me handling it how I'm saying might not be the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
But sometimes people be like, I'm sure everyone's heard the phrase, where like somebody will ask you your opinion on something, or something will happen, or you'll tell somebody what the best way to go about something, and they'll be like, well, that's easy for you to say.
Uh-huh.
You're not in it. It's
Uh-huh.
like, sure, but sometimes it is easier for me to say, which is good, right?
Yeah.
Like it's better to give an opinion that's easier for me to say than it is for you. You're in it. You can't make an objective opinion. I'm out of it. An easy opinion is an objective opinion, I think. And sometimes we should value that instead of disqualifying somebody because they're not in it. Although sometimes people can't be objective. So they'll give you their opinion. They can't even put themselves in your shoes.
Or because they care about you, they can't even like be objective, you know? Because
Right.
like they feel like
That's what happens with relationship advice. When you go to somebody who cares about you, a lot of times you go to relationship advice and they can't take their care out of you for you out of the advice.
they can't.
So it's not objective, it's subjective advice.
Yeah,
So a lot of times they might apologize for the stuff you've done or not be able to tell you to your face that
You were
you're wrong.
wrong.
That's
Yeah.
why I think it's good to get advice from a Virgo, because we'll tell you straight to your face.
What's that,
You
September?
wrong.
That's
You're
September.
wrong.
Everybody needs
I don't
a
care if
Taurus.
you're a kid or a parent, whoever. That's like a very Virgo trait.
I think
People don't like talking to Virgos until shit get real. Then they call me and they want to know my honest opinion of it because everybody or their yes men ain't working for them.
is that September? Virgo?
Yeah.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, Marty?
Everybody needs a Taurus.
What, Marty?
Everybody does need a Taurus.
That's
That's,
a t-shirt.
actually true.
That's a
That's
t-shirt.
very true. No, I read this thing recently that is very much what that is. And it was talking about the differences in friendships between like when you're a kid and when you're an adult, and like kid being pretty much everything up until like early 20s. Like, and I was saying that friendships when you're young are very much phrased like yes men, let's just, chaos, let's just have a good time. Like they're
Yeah.
phrased like that. And friendships when you're an adult are phrased very much like, how many times can I say yes to you that this is a good idea? Like, how many times can I tell you your $1,000 spending spree is a good idea? And how many times can I tell you that, you shouldn't, go, like, it's fine that you hooked up with him again? And how many times should I tell you that? Because it's just enabling you.
Yeah.
And it's like being a friend as an adult is about holding yourself at a standard where you bring other people up to that standard.
Yeah.
And that you hold people accountable while not like judging them.
Right.
And I feel like you just, you do that just by nature of OCD.
What?
Like being a Virgo. You're like, I just.
Because I told you to make your
Yeah.
bed?
Well,
That's not necessarily holding you accountable,
no,
but
but just like saying, if you think about your friendships and you think about holding people accountable and you don't think about being a yes man or you're not a yes man, like that's the kind of friendship you should want as an adult, I would think.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's
You're
the kind
right.
of friendship I want.
But people
No.
resent you for that too.
you're right.
You know, especially if they're not ready to hear what's on the opposite side. And I can't front because sometimes I might take it a little personal, but then I'll sit and I'll think and be like, nah, maybe I didn't see that. Like, I didn't see that perspective. So let me take that in. And like, I think that also being an adult is like being able to like take in as much information that you can and then make the best decision. You know what I mean?
Right. Somebody told me recently, an adulterer, that she hates it because we get into topics and she always feels like there's more, and then we'll just be like, all right, that's it.
Next week.
So
Started.
in spite of the way she feels, that's it. We gotta
Come
stop
back
this.
next
Maybe we'll
week.
talk about this a little bit more on the next episode. But thank you guys for listening to volume
Thanks.
48, coming out March 11th. We appreciate all the adulterers. If you guys want to see me on the road, I got some cool dates coming up. March 11th, this comes out. I'm doing a film. Oh no, I'll be here in New York this weekend. I'm on the 15th. Come see me. I'm at the Gotham Comedy Club and the Stand Comedy Club. And next weekend, the 22nd to the 24th, I'll be in Pittsburgh. And the 28th to the 30th, I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. And April 5th and 6th, I'm in Cleveland at the Cleveland Improv.
Shout out Pittsburgh. and
Shout out to all
Cleveland.
the adulterers. Shout out to everybody that support. Later.
Peace.